Welcome to Nashville North Studios. We're so glad you could join us. This is the end of another fabulous show that we've had here for the month. This is called Secret Garden. That's the group show and the solo show of Susan Ireland. We're starting at the back of the studio because I wanted to give you a different view. But let me just note that Reed Allberger was here playing his music, and we had a wonderful crowd. There were timed entrances and exits, as there will be for the next opening in July for Time and Tide and the work of Tim S. Smith. So let's get started here. We'll go from the back, and we'll start with our featured artists wall, which right here at the beginning is Erica Mederi's work. And you can see she has a variety of photographs and paintings. Very colorful. And then next to Erica, we will see the work of Matt Dixon, who works in pastels. And he really does beautiful work of nearby and far away. Matt's also our sign maker. So if you need a sign, get a hold of Matt Dixon. Over here next to Matt Dixon is the work of William Mackenzie. William's work is very abstract in some cases. It's interpretive. So lots of good energy and line and color. We love our color. And next to William is Shirley Hawthorne. Beautiful works, some of which just came in this week. You can see a lot of postings on Instagram and on Facebook if you follow us. Here's the work of Arlene Grouch, Palermo clay artist. Beautiful pieces. Very beautiful designs on them. Some more colorful than others, some long and some short. Whatever fits. Beautiful. And next to Arlene, we have Cheryl Patten with her fabric and thread pieces. Cheryl has also made a variety of masks for us to have for sale here in the studio. Several have already been sold, but we will have some for you to see. You can see the detail in these. It's all fabric and thread. Amazing. Painting with a sewing machine. How about that? And above Barry is Barry's work, Barry Pzetner. Barry's going to have a show here later this year called Counterculture. And we hope you'll be able to join us. Barry deals with things that have much thought. And this particular piece was put in a journal out in California. It's entitled Drowning Minorities. Next to Barry, we have Doreen Kesbu. Doreen has beautiful works in oil. Sometimes she works in pastel. She had a solo show here earlier this year. It was a great success. Beautiful works. And right under Doreen's work, we have the work of Gail Beckley, who's a photographer. And she takes work and she puts it in her computer, and she makes very exciting let's call them juxtapositions, matches, mirror matches, as you can see. Very reasonable. Here's a little face for you. Lots to see. Next to Gail Beckley is the work of B. Stenta, who also had a show here for 2 months this year. Due to COVID, we held her over an extra month. And she had a very nice showing and still has a lot of beautiful work here. So if you'd like to see more of B's work, just let us know. Any of the work you see today. Next to B is Christine O'Brien. Christine takes her pastels and makes these beautiful pieces of nature, and you can see how tiny the dots are. I think she calls them S. And above Chris O'Brien, we have Tina Sacco. Tina pours and does all kinds of things with paint, layers them. Sometimes she puts toppings on them. As you can see, some are shinier than others. So that's what she does. This is Purple Songbird from the Songbird series. Acrylic with resin. This one she has some gold in. Paper stripes, very pretty. And of course, what we all love here at the shore is the wave. And speaking of waves, next to Tina's work is the work of Lindsay Rae. And Lindsay has just brought these pieces in. At the top, she has a piece on metal, which is a little bit difficult to see. Let me see if I can get a different angle for you. It's a wave, and it's just stunning. And below that piece are these pieces that are a little bit different for her. She took a photograph, and she used molding paste, and she made a diptych. So it's a mixed media piece, and also sealed with resin. Something new for her. You can see these in person if you make a reservation to come in. Open in the afternoons from 1 to 5. So down here we have Theresa Marie Kennish, and she's done 2 beautiful portraits of lovely dogs and a butterfly. You can get lost with that butterfly in the garden, can't you? And look at those beautiful eyes. Next to Theresa is Nancy Schneider. Nancy worked in the garment industry and has brought these pieces in, and they are meditations on line and form. And she starts with one line on a piece of paper, and then she goes. Very intricate. Very beautiful. Above Nancy's work is the work of Bill Sines. And Bill has lived out west, as you can see by the 2 at the top. And he lives here in New Jersey now and makes these beautiful pieces. I would say this is probably his latest style right here, which is very energetic and fun. So Bill will be having a show later this year. Speaking of shows, right now we have Susan Irland in the solo room, and these are her pieces on the wall here in the center. She has a mixture of pieces that are available for purchase. Next to Susan, we have the work of Bob Boyd. Bob Boyd puts his photographs on birch cradle. And they're just stunning. You don't need a frame. They're ready to hang on the wall. You can't go wrong. So we'll go up here and see the group show now. Secret Garden. Give you a little swing around the room. Sorry about the sun being so bright, but that's the way it is in the afternoon at Nashville North Studios. We have our miniatures there in the middle, so we'll go around and we'll talk about all these pieces. We'll start over here in the window with Bill Parker's work. It's a pastel, and I don't know if you can smell it, but he entitled it My Secret Garden. A beautiful pastel piece, just framed, so to speak, hot off the presses, if you will. And then here's the group show too, on all of these walls. We'll go over here and start with the purple wall. And right here we have a work by William West. It's a photograph of elephant ears he took down at Leaming's Run down in Cape May County. As you can see, he took it into the computer and he layered it. But isn't it just beautiful? Below Bill, we have the work of Gail Beckley. This is Grasshopper Queen's Garden. Look at all the detail in there. Can you see it? And below Gail's work, we have My Secret Garden by Marlene Dorr, watercolor. And next to her, we have two pieces. This one at the bottom is Amazing Grace by Theresa Kennish. And as you can see by the little red dot, it is sold. Everyone just loved it. And it goes so beautifully with the one above it by Elise Cashman Bond. And the frame is a custom frame done by Scott Edward Henry. Beautiful work, as you can see. Flowers, dragonflies, stunning. And this is Meryl Oberon. Meryl was a beautiful actress. Lived to be 68 years old. And I understand her beauty never faded. And it obviously hasn't, as you can see in this beautiful painting. And next to her, we have work by William Mackenzie called Breakthrough. Again, a contemporary piece, open for interpretation, certain lively lines. And then we have work by Erica Maderi, Golden Dreamer. She used two colors, gold and purple. And then we have Ramblin' Rose by Chuck Law, a new oil that he did. It's like being in his garden. I'm going to back up a little bit so we can see this wall. In top left, we have a piece by Sue Rao, watercolor, flower garden, State of Affairs by G. Matthew Dixon, a beautiful little oil painting by Doreen Kesbu, and a lovely photograph called Sunrise by Ken Thompson. Next to Ken, we have another William Mackenzie. Look at that. It's very exciting. A riot of color and line. which is a nice support for this lovely one by Chris O'Brien. Black Eyed Susan. It's an oil. And then above that we have a lovely pastel by Renee Leopardi. Quite large actually for a pastel. You see? Sorry about the glare. Renee Leopardi. And here in the center, we have at the top a William Signs. Isn't that dramatic and fun? And it is flanked on either side below by Meryl Kuhl's work. And these are selections from her secret garden of fruit. There's one, and there's the other. And then in the middle of the two is Shaman of the Blue Forest by Gail Beckley. Amazing you can do that with a photograph, isn't it? And then at the bottom we have one of my pieces. It's not even labeled, but it is Red Tulip number 4. A lot of people think it's a poppy, but it's a tulip. And of course there's a story that goes with it. Like all painters, we have stories with our work. So next to my work right there, we have Nancy Palermo's beautiful piece called Citrus Still Life. We have a whole room of Nancy's work in the back, the Nancy Palermo retrospective. Please stop by to give it a look. And here we have Yellow Hibiscus by Chris O'Brien. See those tiny marks on there? Isn't it fabulous? And above her work, we have 4th of July on Margaret Ritchie's Porch by Elisa Harris. Margaret Ritchie is one of our famous artists who's been around for quite a while. We all admire her. So this is her porch. Thank you. And over here, we have Escape into Art by Suzanne Wining. Wonderful colors. Under Susan's piece, we have an untitled work by Elisa Harris. You can just go right into that, can't you? And under that, we have Aspen by Ken Thompson. And who's peeking out under the chair here? Beautiful black and white photograph. And then here we have Feeding Time by Rich Meehan. And at the top are the little birds, as you can see. And then this is them when they want to be fed. There is a chest that was brought in this week. I have not yet labeled it, but I will. It's for the next show. We have this table that we had outside during the last opening. Jewelry by Hawthorne and by Arlene. And masks, as you can see, by Cheryl Patten. Prints by B. Stenta, and these are originals by Jason Antonelli. Lots to look at. And over here we have two pieces, two tables, and two sculptures, if you'll call them that, in wood by Shirley Rae. This is tails. See all the layers of wood. And then this is the table, candy striper. Charles makes all these in his workshop. Right beside it is his latest table and his latest sculpture, Beacon of Descent. And the table is cherry pillars. Beautiful top, beautiful legs, cherry pillars. So let's go over here. We'll take a peek back here in the corner. We have our revered Lance Balderson's piece called Inventory. And then over here we have On Guard by Bonnie Rand. It's a kitty cat on guard. And then above that we have a Linda Robinson, Serene Moment. And then above that we go to Ireland and we have Bunratty Window Box by Mimi. And above Mimi's, we have Scuttled by Matthew Dixon. Beautiful works. Here's some more originals by Jason Antonelli. And over here, we have G. Matthew Dixon, Into the Mountains. G. Matthew Dixon's are all pastels. This is Linda Robinson's pastel, Afternoon Walk. And Garden of Delight by Rich Meehan. And Rich is a veteran, military veteran, and he was in our last show that we honored veterans. We asked him if he would please bring us something for this show, and he did. And above this, we have a fabulous piece by Cheryl Patten, Fabric and Thread. Get a little closer so you can see the fine details. Cracked but Not Broken by Cheryl Patten. Isn't that something? And it's big too. And then over here to the right, we have a beautiful piece by Tim Faraday entitled Below the Surface. And we put the story of this painting on Facebook and Instagram. You can see that it does have its own story. And above his work, we have Spring in the Alley, a pastel by Shirley Hawthorne. Sorry about the reflection. Beautiful work. And then we have a Floral Mist by Tina Sacco. Look at that. Isn't that something that you can pour paint and manipulate it to make it so beautiful? No brush, just movement. Really lovely. And we have Secret Places by B. Stenta at the top. It's a very large piece. You can see so many things in it. There's all kinds of form, life, garden, people, boats. This one has it all. And this is called Altered Paper, Acrylic, and Charcoal by B. Stenta. Let's see if I can get a full shot of this for you. There you go. And then down here at the bottom, we have one that was just brought in by Suzanne Braddock. A fun piece, a bicycle and some flowers with a fence. Everything we think of for summertime. So in here we can go now and see the work of Susan Ireland. I'll start here with Susan's piece. This is up by Kennedy Airport. There's a beach there in New York on Long Island. And she has a lady here dining away, reading a fashion magazine. Well, we might not look like the people in the magazines, but we certainly have a good time. And I guess that's what she's having. And in here is Susan's work. So I'm going to start over on this wall. I'll back up a little bit so you can see. At the top, all the different birds. This is called Crows After the Storm. This is Beach Still Life. And this one, I can't even pronounce it, but it's at the river in New Hampshire. It's a big word. Here, I'll focus in on it. Maybe you can read it. See it? See that big word? Kankamagus, New Hampshire. And then down here we have her white poinsettia, or poinsettia, depending how you say it. Susan uses acrylics and oils to make her paintings. And her trip to Paris yielded a gargoyle. And up here she has a sold red cardinal. And below that is her koi pond, called Time to Eat. And here is our beloved, always looking seagulls. Aren't they something? So over here on this wall, we have a lot of sea-related things. At the top, we have a painting of a shoreline up in New York. And these are paintings that she did while she was up there. You can almost feel them, the movement in them. Not the camera, but, you know, the actual movement in the paintings. Here's a small one. And then her swimmer. I believe this was her entry for a Hackney show. Over here is a little more sea vegetables, as I call them, but this is green sea fingers. Southampton study on the bay. And down here, I posted this on Facebook and everybody wanted to know where I ordered it from. they wanted to eat it. So if you buy this, you don't even have to order out. You'll have it all the time. Here are shell, still life. Look at the details. Beautiful. And lobsterman's number, what is this? Lobsterman's ID, buoys waiting. These are all by Susan, Ireland. At the top, we have Porpoise Point, Pier 77. And look at the detail in that. It's really an accomplishment to be able to do all that. All that fabric, netting, the rusty chain, the roping. Wow. Really beautiful. Porpoise Point, Pier 77, Kennebunkport, Maine. So here on the other side of the wall, down at the bottom, is another favorite, Key West resident, which, as you can see, is a lobster. On the fence, number 1, red, yellow, and white. And above here is the sloop of the war rigging USS Constellation. I'll back up so you can see it in its entirety. It's very large. And over here we have Susan's flowers. I'll back up so you can see the whole wall. Her garden, if you will, in the secret garden. I'll start over here at the top. Raindrops on roses. Remember that? And whiskers on kittens? We have the raindrops on the roses for you. And then just below that, we have a blossom from the tulip tree. They're quite large trees, you know, with quite beautiful blossoms. And here's one of my all-time childhood favorite, honeysuckle. I used to ride my horse and grab some honeysuckle off the fence. Sweet as could be. Isn't that beautiful? And down here we have one she has simply entitled Pansy. Sweet little yellow pansies. We'll go back up here to the top. This is Snapdragon, looking close. And right under Snapdragon, we have Snowdrops. To the right of Snowdrops, we have Crocus. And then on the other side, we have Hollyberries. Under Hollyberries, we have Tasseled Dahlia. I think this was one of her odes to Georgia O'Keeffe. Beautiful. And then here we have one of my favorite things, pink roses. And I'm no doubt they're from her garden. Her garden is beautiful. And over here at the top, we have orchids, the flower of affection. And just below the orchids, we have Christmas cactus. And here is lotus flower. Stunning, isn't it? Go in there and look at that. And then below this is iris, sweet yellow iris. Also with her garden, she has a beautiful butterfly called milkweed habitat. And next to that one is her garden at home. This is in an antique frame that's over 100 years old. We think it's just lovely. Here are some pieces. This is a mixture of pieces. This is earth elements, water, wind, and fire. Symbolic. Nature shapes from memory. Streaming a memory. And above that, light coming through. So we have a few other pieces here, and we want to tell you about Telepathic Traveler. And this here is Macho Monkey. Say hello to Macho Monkey. He's holding Susan's book, Telepathic Traveler. She had a book launch last year that we all went to, and it was wonderful. I think it was last year. You know, after all of this confinement, everything's running together. Well, anyway, here is her corn. That's on birch cradle. Here is, this was for our exhibit, our patriotic exhibit for Memorial Day. And Susan prepared this special piece with painting, with writing on top of it. Can you see that? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and so forth and so on. But beautiful, isn't it? And down here we have a rather abstract piece. And then an all-time favorite of pumpkins. So I'll give you one more sweeping view here. Susan sold quite a number of these pieces. Here some of the solds on the wall right there. And you can see all of her beautiful works. Thank you, Susan, and thank you all for tuning in to this video and being so patient as to let me ramble on. But there's a lot of art here at Nashville North Studios. We're very, very, very lucky to have such talent in our area. And we hope that you'll be able to stop by soon. And as I said to you, we will be having another fourth Friday this month, July 24th. Here's some pieces on deck for the next shows coming up. There's some of my works in there. And over here we have Jim's production studio. Take it in here, sneak in here. Nobody's in here, so we can look around. And there you have it. So reservations are available for our next Fourth Friday. And that show is Time and Tide, and the solo show of Tim S. Smith, who's a Northfield resident, Northfield, New Jersey. And I leave you now from our secret garden at Nashville North Studios. Thank you for coming by.